Tatanka versus Peter Weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pete Weeks.
Yeah.
Hey.
Weak Peter.
I say Weak Peter is a worse name. All right, so I'm laughing at this.
Can you imagine at school reading off the list of names? And worse, it's not like, your last name starts with an A, and so everyone laughs, but then they forget about it by the person's name starts with a Z.
Yeah.
This fucker guy goes last. Weak Pete? Here. What do you want to be when you grow up? Weak Pete? I'm going to be a wrestler for the WWF. Ha ha! I'll laugh. Well, he had the last laugh.
Did he?
Oh,
Actually,
no.
He had the
I had the last
He had
laugh.
the penultimate laugh. Everyone else had the last laugh.
I had the last laugh at the first laugh and many laughs in between watching this match. First of all, his name, as noted, Peter Weeks.
Yeah.
This is funny. This is undeniably funny, no matter how many times you say it.
You think his friends used to mess with him, Peter Weeks?
I don't think they needed to mess with a man whose name was Pete Weeks.
You just call him Peter Weeks every single time.
Yeah.
Full name. Stop. You never call him Pete. Never call him Weeks. Never Petey. Hey, Peter Weeks. What are you going to do tonight?
I guess Peter's Week would be worse.
Or Weak Peters. Yes.
Weak Peters, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm beside myself with the name already. Then I look at him.
Yeah.
Nothing better than the fat wrestler who says, a little overweight, a little flabby, a little chunky. I'm going to get me a singlet.
Yeah.
But I'm going to make sure the neckline is cut down to the navel so my gut and boobs are still hanging out everywhere. Loving this guy. Then he starts to wrestle.
He did.
Now,
I missed that part.
with one exception, there was nothing he did that was like outright botched and horribly wrong. He was out of position or whatever. But everything he did was done badly. He reverses an arm wringer. And when you do an arm wringer, you want to stand up tall and get close to the guy, like you're really cranking on his arm. Peter Weeks grabs this arm wringer. He's bent way over. He is as far away from the tongue as he can get and still maintain contact. It's so terrible. And then Tatanka decides he's going to take Peter Weeks' cardio machine, have him run all over the place. Every time Peter Weeks started to run, I laughed out loud. I rewound it. I laughed out loud again. The first one was like he throws a back elbow in the middle of the ring and then goes hits the ropes. 5 steps to get halfway across the ring. Then he's got to run the ropes and run the other side. And Tatanka's going to do a drop down in the middle. So when you're running the ropes, you want to do ideally 2 steps. A lot of guys do 3, especially in this giant WWF ring. And then when a guy is doing a drop down anyway, you got to jump over him. So you're going to inherently take fewer steps. Unless you're Peter Weeks, in which case Tatanka drops down in front of you and you take 9 steps to get across the ring. Oh, just howling with laughter every time. There was one time where Tatanka whipped him in to give him a backdrop. I'm almost positive Peter Weeks skipped at one point, was skipping across the ring. So Tatanka's chopping him. The camera's behind Peter Weeks, looking over his shoulder. We can still see his boobs. He can't feed the war dance comeback correctly. Even Vince McMahon starts to laugh at one point. It's just so bad. Tatanka whips him in for a big chop at the end, and Peter Weeks hits the ropes. As God is my witness, he almost got stuck. He hits the ropes, and he just stays there. And he starts to run back. Tatanka did hit like a body slam and a backdrop in this match. He was not doing the Samoan drop to this dude. He goes up to the top rope, hits a top rope chop. Peter Weeks did not take a bump. He bumped several times in this match. This one, he just melted like a snowman in the sun. And Tatanka pinned him. This match went 3 minutes. It took me almost 20 minutes to get through because I kept rewinding and laughing over and over and over again. And
sounds to me like this guy should have been Peter Geeks.
Peter Weeks is funnier than Peter Geeks.
I don't know.
You cannot make Peter Weeks any funnier than it is.
I don't know.
All I know is I haven't done this in a few years. But it felt good to do it again. Peter Weeks, you are this week's worst wrestler of all time of the week.
Wow. Poor Peter Weeks.
Oh, I laughed so hard. Non-stop, bell to bell, and before and after. Best comedy I had all day.
It was funny because the guy didn't mind taking a bump. I mean, they looked horrible, but
Right.
Tatanka would chop him and then chop him again, and he would take a bump.
Yeah.
And most guys like that won't take bumps.
Right.
And this guy was taking
Well,
bumps
you
on
see,
the
he sucked.
outside.
Until the end.
He wanted to do this, but he was no good at it. So he tried. I don't know why. Should have known better.
Oh God, they use this.
What, he thought he might get hired again?
Usually, when the promoter is laughing at you on commentary, a bad sign for your career outlook. And then they plug Tatanka versus Mr. Hughes on Mania on Saturday morning, the day before King of the Ring.